And welcome back, everyone. It is the end of the year. I've got myself a lovely adult beverage. If you are not above drinking age or the legal drinking age, I will not tell you what is in here. You can tell by the color, though, for anyone who does know. But I will not tell you what brand of what I'm drinking is. But it's the end of the year, or cash, but we're still talking. I've still got COVID, but I'm doing pretty well, all things considered. Well enough to be drinking some bourbon. And it is time for the end of the year list. Now, I'm adding an extra end of the year list this year. This is not obviously that list. This is the anime list. I'm going to do the best of the worst, the anime that we're on right now, and I'll include a comic book movie list, A, for the views, but also for the clicks, but also because I love comic book movies, and I'm surprised I actually don't do a comic book movie list at the end of the year. Plus the end of the year box office, which will be out either tomorrow or Monday. But without further ado, we are in the worst to best, or from worst to best, animated movies of the year. Now, to the one viewer of mine who does adamantly like me to do the animated films, I had all intention of going to see Migration. I truly did. But then I got COVID, and I can't go out to the movies right now. So, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to add it to the end of the year list. So, I'm sorry about that. And unfortunately, because it's going to be past the end of the year when it first off comes out on streaming, and other movies are going to be coming out throughout the weeks, I am not going to be doing a review of the movie. If it was a movie I had intention, like if I was a movie I was actually very interested in seeing, I'd make more of an effort to do it. But it's not. I don't. And unfortunately, this is going to have to be one of the movies that falls through the cracks. It's going to have to be one of the movies I just don't see. So I do apologize, but just don't expect it. That's all I'm going to say. Unless some miraculous thing happens, don't expect it. Anyway, without further ado, though, let's actually talk about this stuff. We're counting down, in this case, the top 9 worst to best animated movies of 2023. And coming in at our number 9 spot, the bottom of the pack, the worst of the worst animated fare this year. You know it, you love it. Paw Patrol, the Mighty movie. Not the Super movie, the Mighty movie. Now, I should note right now, it's actually been a pretty good movie year this year. My worst list is really all no. I don't see every movie, but my worst list, for example, is really. I had to kind of struggle to find what I consider to be bad enough to be on the worst list. It kind of extends to the animated films as well. Paw Patrol is bad. It's not a good movie, but I look at this also from the lens of I'm not the target audience for this movie. This movie is designed for little kids. I'm guessing between the ages of, 2 to 5, maybe 6. So, in that regard, I don't think it's like the worst thing you could ever show them. But in terms of characters, animation is still better than probably the show looks, but not by a great margin. I've seen little clips of the show online and all that. It's not all that more impressive than the show. I will say in this one, I liked this one a little better than the previous Paw Patrol movie that made it to theaters last year? So I did like it a little bit more than that. There were actually a couple of moments where I'm going, all right. There's literally like the meteor coming down. I'm like, holy shit, they're going like extinction level event on this city. Holy crap. But the villain was also a little bit better than, Hinker, whatever his name is. I really don't remember a lot of these characters' names. So in that regard, this movie is it's not good. Anything else on this movie, on this list, would be better to show your kids, even at a young age, I think, than this. It's just, and the lessons you're trying to learn from the movie are so televised. It's not even really challenging the kid. Which, to be fair, between the ages of 2 and 5 to 6, they're not really needing that much challenging. But still, a little bit is good, even for kids that age. They're just not meant for me, but it still makes it to the bottom of the list. It is, I think, the worst animated film this year. Coming in at number 8, Trolls 3. Now, Trolls 3 falls very similar into the Paw Patrol category of, it's not meant for me. It's made for younger audiences. But the problem is, it's made for older audiences beyond just the 2 to 6 demographic. You are looking at all the single years and maybe even into the early double digits. But it's still not a good movie. It does have the advantage, though, of being much better looking than Paw Patrol, which is one of the big reasons I put it above it, is that it is a nicer film to look at than Paw Patrol. And the characters at least have been having an arc throughout their movie series. And I know the fact that when there is a song I like playing, I like the song that's playing. So there is that. And I would like to know more. Like, I wouldn't mind like a book. Like, you get those fictional books about like the world, like the ecology of Star Wars or Avatar. An ecology book on the world of trolls would kind of be fun, because there is some wacky shit that exists in the world. Like, at points, it's not modern, but then it's very modern. It's weird. But regardless, Trolls 3, still not a very good movie, but again, not made for me. I recognize that, so moving on. To number 7, The Amazing Maurice. This is one that I know, like, the stuff, like the Discworld stuff that this series is based off of. I'm very well aware of that. And Terry Pratchett. That's Terry Pratchett stuff that this series is based off of, or at least this particular story came from, in some regard. I've never personally read it, so I don't know like how faithful it is to the source material. This film, though, like, the moment I saw the trailer for it, I knew it was not going to be the best. It's not made on a large budget. The CGI looks it. At points looks fine, but most of the time it's just not the best looking animated film. Trolls 3 and even Paw Patrol, I think, consistently look a little better than this. Where this film gains points, though, is it actually is telling a story. An interesting story, too. Like the idea of a Rat King. The idea of the Pied Piper. Maurice and his arc. The Rats' arcs. Seeing death come in, like the grim squeaker. Hugh Laurie gets the voice of him. Like, and what was it? David Thewlis voices the Rat King. There is cool stuff in here. I do like a lot of the concepts going in here, which is why it makes it above the first 2 on this list. The problem is, I feel like a lot of that is just squandered in just childlike appeal. Not appeal. It's trying to appeal too much to kids without trying to be a story for both adults and kids, which is what the Terry Pratchett books actually, or stories actually kind of are doing, is that they're being told for both audiences, whereas this one's definitely leaning towards the kids' side. It suffers from a lot of immature jokes, a lot of some characters. The girl is obnoxious as hell. I did not like that character whatsoever. She needed to get her ass kicked, to be honest. You say, oh, this is my story. That's not how it works in the story. This is not. I just wanted her to take her by the throat and say, it's not a goddamn story. We're going to die. She needed a reality check. Yes, she's there in a story, but not in the context of the world they're not. And that character just got on my nerves. Things like that. A lot of the jokes are just, again, very immature. Oh, excuse me. Very, not immature. That's not the right. Very just juvenile jokes. Just jokes little kids would be laughing at. Whereas this series should be more for, like, kids between the ages of 6 and like 13. That's what this kind of movie should be. And it just isn't. And that sucks. So coming in at number 7, we got The Amazing Maurice. Coming in at number 6 is Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. Little Mermaid fanfic brought to life, pretty much. I know apparently this is based off a book series as well. Look, this is the last one on the list. I don't think is a very good movie. It's probably the best among them. It is consistent with its tone. It's a standard coming-of-age tale. Friends turn enemies, enemies friends, whatever. It looks perfectly nice. That the colors are very vibrant when they are vibrant. But it's just, I watched it and it was kind of like in one ear, out the other. I think it's, honestly, most of the other films stay with me more than this film does. And yet, I think in terms of a consistently told, well-balanced, non-irritating type of story, this is a perfectly serviceable film. This is the most harmless film of the five, like to entertain your kids with. Maybe The Amazing Maurice is a little bit less offensive if I'm using the term offensive, if I'm going to use that term. But I think overall, this one just is like, okay, it's here. It's not doing anything wrong per se. It's not doing anything very well either. So yeah, coming in at number 6, we got Ruby Gillman. Now, we're going to see a big jump in quality with the remaining 5. So coming in at number 5, I got this Wish. Now, I stand as someone who actually likes the movie Wish. In fact, I liked it, I think, a lot more than most other people did. My friend also very liked it too, but we actually both acknowledged there are problems with this film. The villain's trajectory from savior to villain is just out of nowhere. Honestly, it really comes out of nowhere. We both agreed. We get what they were trying to do with Magnifico, that he is a guy who ultimately got not corrupted. That's not the right word. He got too high on his own ego and his own self-value and his worth and what he meant to the people he was protecting. And that corrupted him. We understood that, but you went from, hey, he's a good guy, he does good things, to evil. Like, what? That came out of freaking nowhere. The songs are fine, but they're not anything too amazing. The fact that this was supposed to be a 100-year celebration anniversary of a movie to celebrate the 100 years of Disney. It was supposed to be a very different movie, and you could see the elements in there, and it's kind of patchworked into a different film. It's distracting. The characters are fine, although, I can't even remember the girl's name now. The main character, I saw something where people pointed out, she's not bad, but there's nothing unique about her. And it's unfortunately a trait that's been carrying over to a lot of these, these female protagonists with the animated Disney films. Now, this would be during the Chapek era. A lot of these films are being made. I don't want to blame them for everything, but I blame them for a lot. But apparently we have been seeing this with Moana, with Isabelle, with her. No, there was another character. Mirabel, I would argue against, though. Mirabel, I think, was unique in her own right because of this style and story of that film. But still, that's an issue. The side characters are mostly irrelevant. It's trying very actually hard to be a Kanto in the very beginning of the film, I think. So, it's got a lot of problems. But for all the problems it has, I do put it at number 5 out of 9 because I do think it's actually a pretty charming film. Star is an adorable little character. Everyone, I think, loved Star coming out of that. Even the people who didn't really love the movie loved Star. The songs, well, like I said, aren't all that memorable, are still very nice when you hear them. I can still even remember a couple of off my head, like, and so I wish upon the star, look upon the stars to guide me. Like, I remember that one, and say, this is the thanks I get. Like, I remember this, that one stands the most out to me. That was actually the most fun one. I can also vaguely remember the one where, her and Magnifico are singing together. I can kind of remember that one now because I saw it twice. I do remember that you're a star. And then knowing what I know now. Like, okay, great. But again, they're fine. They are perfectly light. It looks nice, by the way. The film looks actually very nice. It's a very lovely looking film. And for the problems that, like, say, the main character has, she's still likable and charming for what it is. There's a lot of fun little scenes going on there. I think ultimately it is a good movie. I think it's just a movie that had a lot more potential than was shown. So that's number 5. Coming in at number 4, we have the Super Mario Brothers movie. A film that I don't know what everyone was expecting, but given its, I think, the highest grossing opening of the year, even above Barbie? No, Barbie, I think, had a higher second, whatever. It's the second highest grossing film of the year. I think a lot of people like this movie. And look, this is a movie that proves you don't need to be overly complicated to be entertaining, enjoyable, and arguably good. I think the critics were being really weird about the movie. A lot of people agree with, like, what the hell are the critics talking about? It's just enjoy the fun. It's Mario. But that being said, it's not a complex movie. It's not. It's a completely simplistic plot. Luigi and Mario get sent to their world. Luigi is separated. Mario's got to try to save his brother, then save the Mushroom Kingdom, then save Peach, defeat Bowser, all that. Fight Donkey Kong at one point. DK! It's Donkey Kong! Come on! Turns into a cat. What? So Bowser sings one of the best songs ever. I don't care what Todd and Shaw said. I love Todd and Shad. I'm joking with him. I'm sure there are people who didn't like the song. It's fine. But look, there is nothing wrong with this film whatsoever in terms of its concept. Now, would I like, assuming they do a sequel, which I'm guessing it will, given it made $1.3+ billion, and a sequel, would I like maybe a little bit more complex of a plot? Sure, absolutely. But for what we got here, am I disappointed? No, it was an absolutely fun time. And so that comes in at number 4. Now we get to the top 3. The top 3 is where we're really starting to get into the good stuff now. Coming in at number 3, we got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles out of the Mutant Mayhem. Shadows is the other one. This is a film that I didn't know what to expect. It looked perfectly fine, like the use of pop culture songs like boo doo 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 doo. Like I can I kick it? Can I kick? Okay, that's fun, but I'm worried they're gonna lean into that. But what we got was a really cool looking film. Like visually, it's a very cool looking film. But you got a very action packed, colorful, fun, and heartfelt adventure with these 3 turtle brothers who are just trying to be a part of their world. They're being Disney princesses, while all the while trying to identify with who they are, mutant or turtle or something different, and then trying to save their city and their home from allegedly people just like them or individuals just like them. And it gives you a lot of heart, particularly with Splinter and his kids. Voiced lovely by Jackie Chan. Who doesn't love Jackie Chan? My dad doesn't really love Jackie Chan, but still, who doesn't love good Chan? Then you got the voices like John Cena, Paul Rudd's in there a little bit. There's a lot. I can't remember any of the kids' voices, but still, it's Ice Cube, Superfly. So yeah, it's a film that just really kind of knocked it out of the park. It really did, I felt. It was tackling also the idea of, not racism, that's not the right word, but isolation and not fitting in very well, I think, for the type of movie it was. So I think this film is a fantastic film. Great film for your kids, I think, especially if they're Ninja Turtle fans. Ninja Turtle fans. So, coming in at number 2, the silver medal goes to Elemental. A film, again, it's Pixar. I trust Pixar. I like just about everything Pixar's done. A couple things notwithstanding. I even liked Lightyear more than other people did. Never saw Luca, Sally. Didn't come out to theaters. Oh, God, my nose is really getting stuffy now. It didn't come to theaters. They are going to, I think, release it in Soul in theaters for a little while. I didn't see Soul either, unfortunately. But Elemental I did see. And I didn't know what to expect. It was a rom-com with the elements, opposites attract, that kind of thing. So, and if my voice starts to sound a bit like this, that is because literally I am talking, I'm breathing through my mouth, and therefore my nose is just constantly just getting more and more mucus in it. Excuse me. And so, breathing through my nose is a little bit more difficult at the moment. So, but yeah, and I didn't know what to expect, but we get not just a fun little romance. I like these two together. The amount of crying Wade does gets annoying very quickly. But you get why they're so different personality-wise that they could actually find an attraction to each other. But you're also telling a story of immigration, of family and family values. And I think it just all blends together really well, particularly when you get the ideas like, well, how can they interact? They're going to interact somehow, but how can they interact? And I get the impression that maybe no one's ever tried it. It's like, oh, wait. If I'm not actually actively trying to douse you out, then we can touch, right? I thought their relationship was beautiful. We knew he wasn't dead, but like her mourning him was really, really touching. And the way he came back was kind of cute too. The elemental puns, if you will, like the way their city looks. It's Zootopia for elements, but still, that's a lot of fun in my mind. So ultimately, yeah, number 2, Elemental. I had a ball. It was really a sweet film. So coming in at number 1, I don't think anyone's going to be surprised by this. It's also going to be in my top 10 best of the year. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, this film is fan-freaking-tastic, man. They did a monumental task that would have theoretically been near impossible and actually made a film better than the original film. Like, in every regard, this film pretty much surpassed the original Into the Spider-Verse, which was one of my favorite films of that year as well. You see the evolution of Miles, who, I'm going to be honest, is kind of an asshole. When you actually really watch the film, he's kind of being an asshole for a lot of that film because he's being a angsty teen. He's like, I'm practically an adult already. It's like, what? Oh, what? I hope that's a thumbnail. Oh, what? But it's like, wow. And then the whole thing, I beat them all. No, you didn't. You were able to trick them. You were able to trick them. And honestly, you would not have won had the other spider person not given pity to you and let you go. So, yeah, Miles, you might need to get an ego check there just a little bit. And that being said, it is still visually one of the most stunning animated films out there. Is one of the best looking ones. The character dynamics between all of them. Gwen's story is so compelling. Gwen's story, her and Miles' relationship. Won't they get together? That is a damn good question. I'm sure that we're gonna get an answer. Like by the end, like she saves them, and at the end they just kind of finally kiss each other. Who knows? I think we both know. I think we all know they're probably gonna end up together at least for a while. In the comics, it's actually said there's an alternate reality where they actually did get married, and from a different reality where they both were. But the villain Spot. They made one of the goofiest villains. One of the most eldritch horror nightmare fuel entities you could imagine. And it worked! It worked! You had, what was it? Peter Parker from the Indian version of New York. I can't remember his name exactly. You had Hobby. You had, obviously, Miguel O'Hara, Peter B. Parker. All these characters coming back and new characters coming into the fray. And they're all just so damn good. I loved it to death. So, it is one of the best films of the year. It is the best animated film of the year. And all I can say is salute. So, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you folks for the next one, which will be out along with this video, which will be the worst movies of the year. So keep your eyes out for that. Until then, see you later.